We don't have time for you right now. My MOM texted as I celebrated my promotion alone. Hours later, my cousin posted, "Family night with a true success story." It was my brother. He had bought a car. I had been paying his mortgage for 3 years. So I paid the $2,000 bill, went home, and canceled all payments, leaving a note on the door. Let the successful one pay. By morning, 90 missed calls. My name is Carlos. I'm 29 years old, and 3 years ago, my life became a routine of work and sacrifice. My father died 5 years ago, leaving my mother with a mortgage she couldn't pay alone. My younger brother, Mateo, 25, never helped much. He was always spending money he didn't have, chasing ideas that led nowhere. My cousin Sophia and my aunt Julieta were part of the family circle, always hovering around my mother, but more out of convenience than affection. I ended up being the one holding everything together, though no one seemed to notice. When my father died, I decided I couldn't let my mother lose the house. It was the only thing she had left of him. So I started working like crazy. I got a job at a tech company, a basic role reviewing code and solving problems. It wasn't much, but I pushed myself hard. I stayed late, learned in my free time, took online courses, everything to climb the ladder, and earn enough to cover my mother's mortgage. For 3 years, I paid that debt every month without fail. It wasn't easy. My salary barely covered my rent and the bare minimum to live. I didn't go out, didn't travel, had no luxuries. My life was work and responsibility. A week ago, all that effort paid off. They called me into the boss's office, which was unusual. I thought I was in trouble, but no, they offered me a promotion to project manager with a raise that left me speechless. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. I wanted to share the news with my family. I thought it would be a moment to come together, for them to see that my sacrifices had borne fruit. I reserved a table at a decent restaurant, not fancy, but nice, with good food and a calm atmosphere. I called my mother, Mateo, Sophia, and Julieta, telling them I had big news and wanted to celebrate with them. My mother said she'd be there. Mateo mumbled he'd try, and Sophia and Julieta seemed excited. I felt good, like we were finally going to have a real family moment. The day of the dinner, I arrived at the restaurant early, wearing a clean shirt and a smile. The table was set for 5. I ordered a pitcher of water and waited. Minutes passed, 15, 30, an hour. No one showed up. I texted them, "I'm here, where are you?" Nothing. Silence. I started feeling like an idiot, sitting alone with the waiter glancing at me. To distract myself, I checked my phone and scrolled through social media. Then I saw Sophia's post. A photo of my mother, Mateo, Sophia, and Julieta at my mother's house, all smiling with food and drinks on the table. The caption read, "Family night with a true example of success." In the photo, Mateo was holding car keys with a huge grin. A comment explained, "Congrats to Mateo for his new car, a family pride." I froze. Family night. Success. And what was I doing? Sitting alone like a fool, waiting. My brother, who hasn't worked a serious day in years, who lives off promises and debts, had bought a car, and my family was celebrating him like a hero. Meanwhile, I, who paid the mortgage of the house they were in, was alone at a restaurant with an empty table. I couldn't believe it. I texted my mother, "Mom, I'm waiting for you. It's important." Her reply came fast, like a punch. "We don't have time for you right now. Carlos, we're busy." Those words hurt more than I expected. After 3 years of paying for her house, sacrificing my life, that's what I was worth. Nothing to them, just the one who paid the bills while they celebrated Mateo. I stared at the message, filled with anger and sadness. The waiter came over, asked if I wanted to order. I said no, paid for the water, and left. I walked to my car, not knowing what to do. I ended up at a quiet bar nearby and ordered a beer, though I don't usually drink. I needed to calm down. As I looked at the bottle, I thought about everything I had done. 3 years paying a mortgage, thousands of dollars I could have used for myself, and not once a thank you. They never asked how I was, if I needed anything. It was always Mateo, his crazy plan, his achievements. And now a car. A damn car. That's when I decided I couldn't keep going like this. It wasn't fair. I killed myself working, earned a promotion, and they didn't even show up. I finished a beer and went to my apartment. I didn't sleep well, but when I woke up, I had a clear plan. I couldn't keep being the one carrying everything while they lived like nothing was wrong. That morning, I opened my laptop and checked my bank account. I saw the history. 3 years of mortgage payments every month. I closed my eyes and canceled the automatic payment. It wasn't easy. Part of me felt guilty, like I was betraying my mother, but another part knew it was the right thing. They didn't value me, didn't need me for their parties, but they did for their bills. That was over. That afternoon, when I knew no one was at my mother's house, I went there. I didn't want to fight, just to make things clear. I wrote a note, let the successful one pay. I taped it to the door with a copy of the bank statement, showing the canceled payment. I didn't feel joy or vengeance, just that I was finally setting a boundary. I went back to my apartment, turned off my phone, and tried to relax. I knew it wouldn't be easy. My family wasn't the type to accept things without drama. But for the first time in years, I felt like I was taking control of my life. The next day, I turned on my phone. I had 90 missed calls, mostly from my mother, some from Mateo, others from Sophia. I didn't listen to the messages. I didn't want to hear their excuses or attempts to blame me. I just wanted to move forward. But I knew this was only the beginning. My family wouldn't let it go, and I had to be ready for what was coming. It was Saturday, my first free weekend after the promotion. I wanted to make the most of it, do something for myself. I put on comfortable clothes and went for a walk. My apartment was in a quiet area with cafes and shops. I sat at an outdoor cafe, ordered a coffee and a pastry, and tried to relax. But the peace didn't last. I saw Mateo's red car parked nearby. It shone like he wanted everyone to notice it. I tried to ignore it, but he got out and walked straight toward me. "Carlos, what's wrong with you?" he said without a greeting. "Mom's going crazy. She says you canceled the house payment and left a stupid note." "What's that about?" I sipped my coffee, not looking at him. "I made everything clear, Mateo. I have nothing to talk about with you." He sat down without being invited, with his usual attitude, like everything belonged to him. "You can't just stop paying. That's Mom's house. Are you jealous of my car or what?" That made me laugh, but not in a good way. "Jealous? I paid for that house for 3 years, Mateo, while you spent on who knows what. I'm not jealous. I'm fed up." He went quiet for a moment, like he was searching for something to say. "Look, brother, I know you've helped, and we're grateful. But you can't leave Mom without a house over a tantrum. That's not family." "Family?" I looked him in the eyes. "Where was family when I invited you to celebrate my promotion? I waited an hour alone while you all celebrated your car. Don't talk to me about family." He squirmed, uncomfortable, but didn't back down. It was a misunderstanding. We didn't know it was that important. Mom was happy about my car. It's an achievement, you know? Not every day you buy something like that. I couldn't believe it. An achievement? You don't have a job, Mateo. How did you pay for that car? Don't tell me you used the money Mom gets from me, because then we really have a problem. He didn't answer, mumbled something, and stood up. "Talk to Mom. This isn't right." He left, the sound of his car like an annoying echo. I finished my coffee, but didn't want to stay there anymore. Back at my apartment, I tried not to let the conversation get to me. But it was impossible. Mateo's attitude, his excuses. Everything reminded me why I stopped the payments. It wasn't just the money. It was that they never respected me. I turned on my phone. More calls, now from Julieta, and messages. One from my mother. "Carlos, how could you do this to us? We're your family. Come to the house." Another from Sophia. "You're selfish. Leaving your mother without a house over a tantrum." I didn't reply. I didn't have the energy to fight over texts, but I knew I couldn't avoid them forever. On Sunday, I tried to distract myself, watched a movie, worked out, cleaned, but the phone kept buzzing with calls, messages, notifications. By night, I decided to confront my mother, not because I wanted to give in, but to make it clear I wasn't changing my mind. I called her. She answered instantly. Carlos, finally, how could you cancel the payment? The house is about to be foreclosed. The bank already sent a letter. This is a betrayal. I took a deep breath. Mom, it's not a betrayal, it's a decision. I paid for that house for 3 years, and not once did you ask how I was. But when Mateo buys a car, you all celebrate. You left me waiting at a restaurant. That's not family. Silence. Then her voice softened, like always when she wanted to convince me. Son, we didn't know it was that important. Your promotion is great, really, but Mateo needed support. He's trying to get ahead. Get ahead? I almost laughed. He doesn't work, Mom. He lives off what you give him. And that car, how'd he pay for it? If you use my mortgage money, we have a problem. No, of course not, she said quickly. Savings, a little. He got a loan. He's a good boy. Don't be hard on him. I didn't believe her. Mom, I'm not paying anymore. If Mateo's so successful, let him do it. Or sell the car. It's not my responsibility. Carlos, please. Her voice broke. If you don't pay, the bank will take the house. It's all I have. Don't do this. She always did that. Tears, guilt. But this time it didn't work. I'm sorry, Mom. I've given everything. Now it's your turn. I hung up. I didn't sleep well. Guilt and anger kept me awake. I knew my mother was in trouble, that the bank wouldn't wait. But I couldn't keep being their solution. Everything revolved around Mateo. He didn't contribute, but he always came out on top. And my mother, Sophia, Julieta, they all covered for him like he was untouchable. On Monday, I went back to work. My new role was intense, but I loved it. I had a team, meetings, and felt like my effort mattered. But at lunch, Sophia texted me, Carlos, this is low. Leaving your mother without a house. You're ungrateful. We always supported you. Supported? Sophia never lifted a finger for me, just lived off my mother. Her words hurt, not because they were true, but because they showed how little they valued me. To them, I was the bad guy, not the one who gave everything for years. That afternoon, Julieta called. I didn't answer, but she left a message. Carlos, it's Julieta? I don't know what's wrong with you, but this isn't right. Your mother is devastated. The house is at risk. Mateo's trying to help, but he can't do it alone. Come, let's talk. Mateo helping? That was new. I decided I had to face them, not to give in, but to close this. I told them I'd go to my mother's house on Tuesday night. I didn't know what I'd say, but I wasn't going to let them manipulate me. On Tuesday, as I drove, I felt nervous but determined. When I arrived, everyone was there. My mother, Mateo, Sophia, Julieta. The atmosphere was heavy. My mother's eyes were red. Mateo sat on the couch, looking like a victim. Sophia and Julieta stared at me like I was a traitor. Carlos, thank you for coming, my mother said, her voice trembling. We need to talk. The bank gave us an ultimatum. If we don't pay in 2 weeks, they'll take the house. I stood with my arms crossed. Mom, I already talked to you. I'm not paying. Mateo has a new car. Let him help, or sell it. Mateo jumped up. Don't bring my car into this. It's mine. I earned it. You can't come here telling me what to do. Earned it. I stared at him. With what money? You don't have a job. And if Mom gave you my mortgage money, then we do have a problem. My mother stepped in. No, he didn't use that money. Carlos, please, don't make this harder. But I wasn't letting it go. Mom, tell me the truth. How did Mateo pay for that car? Because if you don't, I'm leaving now. Silence. They looked at each other nervously. Sophia spoke up. It's not that simple. Mateo needed the car for a business. It's an investment. A business? I laughed. Another one of his plans that don't work? Don't tell me you gave him my money for that. My mother looked down. That's when I knew. They'd used some of the money I sent for mortgage. Not all, but enough for Mateo's car. I felt like an idiot. 3 years of sacrificing so they could fund his whims. This is over, I said firmly. I'm not paying any more while you cover for Mateo. If you want to save the house, sell the car or find another way. But don't count on me. I turned to leave, But my mother grabbed my arm. "Carlos, please, you're my son. The house is all I have. The bank won't wait." I looked at her and almost gave in, but I remembered the dinner, Sophia's message, Mateo's excuses. "Mom, you left me first. Now face the consequences." I walked out, my heart racing. I knew it wasn't over. The house was about to be lost, and my family wouldn't give up. But for the first time, I felt like I was standing up for what I was worth. I didn't know what would happen, but I wasn't going to back down. The bank was close, and they had no plan. The following days were a whirlwind. My mother, Mateo, Sophia, and Julieta kept calling, texting, emailing, even leaving notes at my apartment door. "Carlos, think this through. Don't do this to us. Your family." Each message tried to guilt me, but it didn't work anymore. I'd spent 3 years paying for a house they never considered mine, and I was done being an invisible savior. Work became my refuge. My new role as project manager was demanding, but I loved it. I had a team that trusted me, clients who valued my work, and a salary that finally let me save. I started doing things for myself, bought some new furniture, went out with coworkers, even joined a gym. It was like I was discovering who Carlos was outside of my family's debts. But the calm didn't last. A week after confrontation at the house, I got a bank notification. The mortgage was officially in default, and foreclosure had begun. My mother owed an amount she had no way of paying without me. Part of me felt a knot in my stomach. That house was where I grew up, where my father spent his final days. But then I remembered they never made me feel part of it. It was always Mom's house, never ours. On Tuesday night, while watching a series in my apartment, someone knocked on the door. It was late, almost 10 p.m. I looked through the peephole and saw Sophia, arms crossed, looking angry. I didn't want to open, but I knew she wouldn't leave. I opened the door, staying firm. "What do you want, Sophia?" I said, not inviting her in. "What do I want, Carlos? The house will be gone in a week if you don't pay. Are you really going to let your mother end up on the street?" Her tone was pure venom. "It's not my responsibility." I replied, "Mateo has a car. Let him sell it, or let Julieta pitch in. I've done enough." Sophia laughed sarcastically. "You and your obsession with the car. Mateo's not selling it. It's his pride, and Julieta doesn't have money. You're the only one who can save the house, and you know it. But you'd rather be selfish. That set me off." "Selfish? I paid for that house for 3 years, Sophia, while you and the others celebrated Mateo for nothing. If I'm selfish for wanting to live my life, then yeah, I am." She looked like she wanted to scream, but held back. "This isn't over, Carlos. You won't get away with this." She turned and left. I closed the door, my pulse racing. I knew it wasn't an empty threat. My family was desperate, and desperation brings out the worst in people. 2 days later, it happened. It was Friday, and I came home from work exhausted. When I got to my apartment, the door was ajar. The lock was forced, like someone had used a crowbar. I walked in carefully, phone ready to call the police. The place was a mess. Furniture moved, drawers open, my laptop on the floor. And on the couch, sitting like they owned the place, were Mateo, my mother, and Sophia. "What the hell are you doing here?" I shouted, trying to control my anger. My mother stood, tears in her eyes. "Carlos, we have nowhere to go. The bank took the house today. We had no choice." "No choice." I looked at Mateo, who avoided my gaze. "And your car, Mateo? You couldn't sell it to save the house? Or was your pride more important?" "Stop messing with my car," he growled. "It's not your problem." "Not my problem?" I stepped closer, pointing at the broken door. "And this? Breaking into my house, stealing? This is my problem, Mateo." Sophia jumped in with her usual tone. "Don't exaggerate. We didn't steal anything. We just needed a place to stay. Your family, Carlos. You can't kick us out." I looked at my mother, hoping she'd say something, admit this was wrong. But she just cried, muttering, "Please, son, don't leave us on the street." In that moment, I knew there was nothing to save. This wasn't my family. They were people who used me, who saw nothing beyond their own interests. I pulled out my phone and dialed the police. "I'm calling the police. Get out of my house now." Mateo stood, furious. "You wouldn't dare. You'll put your own mother in jail." "I don't want to put anyone in jail," I said, as coldly as I could. "But I'm not letting you keep using me. Get out or I do it." Sophia and Mateo started yelling, but my mother silenced them. "Stop, stop," she said, her voice breaking. "We're leaving." The three of them left, not without throwing me hateful looks. I called a locksmith that night and changed the lock. I also filed a police report for the break-in, though I didn't expect much to come of it. The following days were strange. I didn't hear from my family directly, but a neighbor told me my mother's house had been foreclosed. The bank sold it quickly, and they were left with nothing. Mateo, of course, didn't sell his car. According to rumors, he was living with Sophia and Julieta in a small apartment, while my mother stayed with a friend. It hurt to hear, but not as much as I expected. I'd spent years carrying their weight, and now I was finally free. I started rebuilding my life. With my new salary, I saved for a trip, something I had never done. I went to the beach alone and spent a week listening to the ocean, thinking about my father. He always told me to take care of myself first, but I never listened. Now, I finally understood. A month later, I got a short message from my mother. "Carlos, I'm sorry. I know we failed you. I hope someday we can talk." I didn't reply, not because I hated her, but because I needed time. Maybe one day we could talk, but not now, not with the wound still fresh. Mateo, on the other hand, didn't change. A friend told me his car business failed, and he lost the car because he couldn't pay the loan. I didn't feel sorry for him. He'd chosen his path, just as I'd chosen mine. Now, as I write this, I'm in my apartment with a cup of coffee and a life that finally feels like mine. I don't know what will happen with my family, but I know I won't be their ATM anymore. The house is gone, and with it, the chains that bound me. For the first time in years, I look to the future and see possibilities, not debts. And that, for me, is true success.